Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. Didmus Sifuna is under a lot of pressure from the Luhya nation to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027. And from all indications, Didmus Sifuna is likely to be on the ballot. But there's one thing which I think should worry Didmus Sifuna. And I actually observed it yesterday during the burial of Patrick Wangamati. During that burial, every leader who rose to speak endorsed Didmus Sifuna. And from the face value, you'd agree that Didmus Sifuna is now the kingpin of the Luhya nation. Each speaker, beginning with David Ochieng.
Na moto inazaa moto. Bwana Sifuna penye uko hapo. Bwana Sifuna penye uko hapo. Na kuambia kwamba usichoke na usiogope. Natembea usiogope. Mutembee kwa nguvu. Western Kenya is known for bravery. Mzee Wangamati was a brave man. Mzee Wangamati did what he could do when he lived. He'll be glad to see all of you in Bukusu land taking all the mantle and ensuring that what he did when he was a younger man gets to be fulfilled even in his death. Naombea wema Bwana Wycliffe ukionea mambo ya ugavana.
Boni Halwale.
Didmus Sifuna, sikia vizuri. Didmus, sikia. You have a responsibility like no one else. Vile unaona wale ambao walikutangulia tunakuheshimu. Use that respect for two things. What Luhya land wants is power and development. Finished.
George Natembea.
Wakenya wale viongozi wako mbele wanatuogopa sisi, maana wanajua umoja wa Mluhya utakuja kubadilisha taifa la Kenya forever. Watu wetu kariako tawe efe urichanga holanga kutiangi na kuria chikura kuria kwenye kwa president tawe. This time round tumesema kwamba tungoje mpaka 2032. Tumesema 2027 ndio mwaka wetu. Na mimi I want to face Kenyans and ask them, mtu angalie vile mnatuona sisi, tunatosha ama tutoshi? Mkisema kwamba hatutoshi, mtuambie sababu ni gani? Na nyinyi mmeona tumejipanga vizuri, mmeona kijana wetu hapa, si ndio? Kazi.
And others who spoke endorsed Didmus Sifuna. But something happened. When Didmus Sifuna rose to speak, Didmus Barasa also left his seat and left the meeting. And it was done deliberately.
Munaniona vizuri? Mimi ndio Sifuna. Nimesikia mkisema hapa nyinyi ni kina nani? Hata nyinyi. Nataka nichukue fursa hii kusema asanteni sana. Huyu ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Didmus tumemzoea. Mimi nimekuwa kwa siasa miaka mingi. Ati wakati Sifuna anasimama kuongea, yeye anatoka anaenda kupangisha watu line wa kule 200. Hii ndio siasa tunataka tuwache nyuma katika taifa hili letu la Kenya. Kwani nyinyi ni wajinga namna gani?
And while Didmus Sifuna was speaking, crowd started following Didmus Barasa. For me, that is something we should worry Didmus Sifuna. The fact that the people who are expected to support him could leave when he was speaking sends a dangerous signal.
Mafurahi kuniona. Wale watu wametufamia hapa, wakataka kutuhangaisha sisi. Watashinda ama tutawashinda? Nione tutam waibike tutam. Hiyo watu mwingine ametoka huko Trans Nzoia. Anaitwa Natembea. Amekuja hapa hadi yako na listi ya wale ambao watachaguliwa kwa gavana ya Bungoma. Natembea aende asiende. Atembee asitembee. Nione kusema yule mtu atembee. Yule mtu atembee, yule mtu atembee. Nyenye mkiona hii watu walianza vizuri lakini wanamaliza vibaya. Ndio Biblia inasema walianza na roho wanamaliza na mwili. Ama namna gani? Walianza na roho wanamaliza na nini? Nyenye mkiona gavana ya Bungoma ni nani? Mimi natosha ama sitoshi?
Niona kusema mimi narudi kwa mkono nione wala kusema mimi natosha. Hawa kora ambao.
In this video, I want us to talk about that walkout and why Edwin Sifuna should actually be worried. But before I do that, allow me to ask you a question. If Edwin Sifuna were to be on the ballot as a presidential candidate, do you think the entire Luhya nation will rally around his bid? Because the truth of the matter is that our politics is tribal. And for Edwin Sifuna to succeed, he must first of all ensure that the entire Luhya nation is fully behind him. If he's on the ballot, will the Luhya nation rally around him? Personally, I'm persuaded that the Luhya nation have embraced Edwin Sifuna. But what about this thing which happened?
Sisi wanalinda mwananchi tunaamini kwamba kutoa William Ruto peke yake inasuluhisha 80% ya shida ambazo tuko nazo. Immediately he is out of office, 80% of our problems will go, kwa sababu ni mtu mwenye roho mbaya.
Before we get into all those, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, ODM party today held a massive political rally in Kisumu. And James Orengo suffered a major political blow. The Kisumu governor, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, joined Oburu Odinga's team. That's something we should talk about in my next video. While they were in Kisumu, Linda Wananchi were also somewhere in Ukambani. I've been following the two events, but first of all, I'm concerned about what happened yesterday to Sifuna. Because the event was successful, what happened was also successful. But the fact that people could leave, I'm imagining Raila Odinga speaking at an event in Luo Nyanza, for example, his support base, or even the President Ruto, then someone comes and the crowd lives with him. Even if it's about money, that's a very bad signal. Ladies and gentlemen, number one, in my view, there is this Edwin Sifuna and Bungoma politics. And I think it played out. For those who've been following the Bungoma politics very closely, the other day, Tim Wanyonyi called out Edwin Sifuna. And there's something which he told Sifuna, which manifested itself there. That there's no way you can go out to seek for presidency while your home is still shaky. So Tim actually advised Edwin Sifuna to come back and consolidate Bungoma. And because Tim Wanyonyi wants to become the governor for Bungoma and is currently based in Bungoma, I think there is something he knows about Sifuna and Bungoma politics. Then you go back again, you realize that Edwin Sifuna, first of all, contested in Kadui. By that time, he had made a name for himself in ODM party. But during the ODM nominations, Edwin Sifuna emerged, I don't know number what. Now, you add to what happened yesterday, where the crowd left with him. You can only conclude that as much as the entire Luhya nation are embracing Sifuna, there is a problem in Bungoma. And he needs to fix that. Because remember, in this funeral, he was not alone. He was also with who? George Natembeya, the Tawe guy. But then, of course, this funeral was kind of their funeral. Because even Papa Waroma found it very difficult because of the history with Wangamati. Number two, why that walkout should worry Edwin Sifuna is that it reveals something. That the deep state can actually use the same strategy across the Luhya nation. They can identify some of popular politicians or populist politicians who are not in Linda Wananchi. Because if in that funeral, which was not even in Kimilili, it was in Kabushai. If in that funeral, Didmus was able to walk out with everybody from the funeral. What tells you that the next day they will try to do that somewhere in Busia or even in Kakamega? Because there's a dangerous creature in this country called NIS. They have the capacity and the ability to craft something. In fact, they'll just study what happened. And then they'll be able to know whether they can replicate it across the entire Luhya nation. And from the way Edwin Sifuna spoke, it was not the first time it was happening. Didmus Barasa has always been going to the funerals, and if he's denied opportunity, he lives with people. Personally, I was wondering, watu ni wa Didmus ama this an old clip? And number three, there's something which I keep on saying on this platform, that politics is a perceptional game. If people can walk out on Sifuna in Bungoma, what perception are they sending outside? Because remember, Sifuna was in Kisumu, and while standing on top of the podium, he said, walisema tutafika tumefika. Now in Bungoma, he's not welcomed. So in short, there's going to be a perception that Edwin Sifuna is not loved in Bungoma, or has not been embraced by the lawyers. And real politics is all about perception. That's going to be very bad for him. And lastly, I want to call it disruptive provocation. I think maybe Didmus Barasa was just testing that I've been doing this successfully, but by that time Edwin Sifuna had not established himself. Now that he has established himself, why don't I try? So what happened at the end of the day is that it qualified it to be disruptive provocation, provoking the organizers of the event, the family members of the late Wangamati, and of course we are also now talking about it. I don't know what you think this might take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.